Welcome back. It is exactly 8:26 a.m. South African time. We cross over to Palestine and we are joined by Areej Alastal. I think that's how you pronounce it. Welcome to the program. Do forgive me if I've mispronounced your name there, Areej.
Hello.
Alastal, welcome. We're going to be talking about a very sad situation this morning. The summer holidays are over and the children are back at school. The Palestinian children are back at school, but obviously a lot of their joy and dreams have been shattered because they go back to school being faced by very many empty chairs. How are the parents and support groups dealing with the situation, supporting the children to mentally adapt to this trauma that they have undergone recently, the killing of innocent women and children in Palestine?
Well, first of all, thank you so much for support for hosting me here, and also thank you for sharing this important topic. First of all, as you said, that the children now are back to schools, and this time it's different, let me say, because there are some chairs missing. Some of the students have been killed or murdered by the Israeli warplanes, and some are actually now getting a special treatment after their bad injury. So let me say the students in the class are not that much kind of happy as every year. No, this year is different for them. They're missing some of their friends, and even them, the students themselves who are in the class, they're having some problems inside them since the last attack which happened in Gaza before days. It's really hard, believe me, for us as adults to go back to our normal life. How about the children who suffered these 3 days? You might think these 3 days were just 3 days, but for us they were like 3 years, because each day you are like saying, oh, it's my turn. Oh, it's my turn now. I can be bombed, because, as you know, the Israeli warplanes attack and murder innocent and civilians. How did the parents treat their children in order to, let me say, to make children really have this, let me say, start to go back to their normal life? Well, parents actually try to, in a way or so, after the war, to take their children out, to just make them happy by just buying some games and everything that they want, and take them to a picnic or whatsoever. But still the children are suffering. And let me say that other organizations here in Gaza, especially, we hear the first week, it actually started on Monday, and today, or let me say, tomorrow is the last day of the week. So in these 4 days, they are having, as let me say, fun fairs in schools, in order to make children happy inside schools and to forget about the things that they went through in the last attack.
Absolutely wonderful initiatives just to try to normalize the situation for the children going back to school. But there are obviously traumas, ongoing traumas. Also, the situation of the little girl that's gone back to school who lost her eye in the recent attacks. And despite having lost one eye, she's back at school. That is obviously a constant reminder to the children of Palestine that they are in a perpetual state of war, so to speak, a perpetual state of occupation. And that can't sit well with them. These are trauma. The entire nation of Palestine is in a constant state of trauma. A couple of weeks ago, we here at Salam Media spoke to one or two groups that operate in Gaza, and they are aid workers, psychological aid workers, trying to help the people in Palestine and very especially the children to try and normalize their situation as much as possible, because trauma can do crazy things to people. You need to normalize, try and lead a normal life as you possibly can, so that you're not scarred mentally for the rest of your life. Is that working well for the people of Palestine, for the victims of the occupiers?
Well, let me say that the Palestinian children are not like other children in the world. As you said, that the Areej Alastal went back to school. Last year, she was with two eyes, and now she's only with one eye. So this is a kind of a new suffering for her. She used to suffer from the Israeli attacks, but now she's starting a new suffering story with herself. And not only Areej, but also let me say the friends of Layan Shair, who's actually been assassinated. This little girl was assassinated by the Israeli occupation. Her friends yesterday were crying. The pictures were spread on social media. They were crying. They're missing Layan. And not only Layan, we in 16 October media group, I'm a part of this group, we went to Ala Qadduma. Ala Qadduma was this 5-year-old child. She was assassinated by the Israeli warplanes while she was going to her aunt, bringing a cattle. It was the start of the attack on Friday. 4 and 16, and she went to bring a cattle, but she didn't come back. Ala was going to be in KG2, and now she's not here. And not only Ala, but also her brother. Her brother was the one who survived from this attack, and her brother now couldn't actually go to school because of his bad injury. Let me also mention Rahaf Suleiman, who went to Turkey to get a special treatment there since she lost her two legs and her right arm. So now she's facing the wall with only the right arm. This is the real face of the Israeli occupation. How we Palestinians are dealing with it. Well, I want to tell you that it's really hard. It's really hard to see your beloved ones or even yourself put in this situation, because your life before the attack, it's not like your life after the attack. We're trying to recover, we're trying to overcome, we're trying to let me say to give our beloved ones special treatment in order to recover from what happened in the last attack. It's hard, but this is our life. This is what it means to be a Palestinian. Our life is hard, but we know at the end of the day, Palestine, we can see Palestine will be free. So our souls, our children, our beloved ones, and everything, we give it, and we let me say it's we give it for Palestine, because it's our homeland. So it might be
Absolutely.
difficult and hard, but it's worth it.
I can't even imagine what the Palestinian people are going through. And it seems that the Israeli occupiers are absolutely intent on annihilating the entire the Palestinian population. They're now targeting children, so they're destroying what could possibly be the next generation of Palestinians. And that obviously is the agenda here. I just want to move track here. I've come across a report which I'd like to share with you, and I'm wondering what the Palestinian people are doing to remedy this atrocity, the latest atrocity. I say latest because this has just come to my attention recently, but the Palestinian people are obviously aware of this. This is a long-standing atrocity on Palestinian children. We understand that Palestinian minors being held in Israeli jails have been subjected to sexual harassment by officers from the Israeli Nashon battalion. This has been reported by the Quds press. According to this news site, the PLO's Commission for Prisoners and Freed Prisoners reported that several minors detained in Maghed Marido prison had been subject to sexual harassment by officers from Israeli Nashon forces. The detained boys said, and I quote, they had been harassed intentionally by the Nashon forces several times. The organization said that it had asked its lawyers to follow up on the issue, noting that the minors became victims of the sexual lust of their jailers from these forces without consideration for their age. It has further gone on to call for international organizations to urgently step in to save these jailed children and to protect them. As of July 2022, there had been 4,550 Palestinian prisoners inside Israeli jails, including 27 females, 175 children, and 670 Palestinians held under administrative detention without charge or trial. I'm sure you're aware of all of that. How do you respond to it?
Well, let me say that the suffering for the suffering of the Palestinians in the Israeli jails, you might have just mentioned something a little bit. What is happening in jails? No one in this world can ever imagine how they are being attacked, and how they are being attacked by the Israeli occupation in jails is something unbelievable. It's something that me and you and no one can ever imagine. The kind of suffering that they're suffering, no one is actually, let me say, we need international groups to talk, to speak up. As you have mentioned, 175 children are prisoners. What is there? What did they do? Are they terrorists? Why are they present? Why are they in prison? So I really just want let me say, an action to be taken by international organizations. We don't need on Twitter just saying save them or save them all. As you know, on Twitter there's the hashtag now, save them all. No, we need actions. We need actions to be taken against what is happening in jails. What is happening in jails, no one can ever imagine. They're suffering inside the jail. And actually, I just want to say something. Every Palestinian who's been jailed and comes out from the jail, he's actually, let me say, he's a body without soul, because of the things that they do, because of the things that they let me say, the things that they're doing in jail or in prison. They are trying just to say, to make us afraid of what they're doing. But to be honest, I know it's something big, I know it's something unbelievable, but we are the owners of this land. This is why we're not afraid. And let me say, we keep our prisoners in our prayers, and we protect them by our prayers, and may Allah bless them, inshallah.
Amin, Amin, Thumma Amin. Areej Alastal, you are an activist based in Gaza. We've described in a very small way the horrors that people in prisons face, but it's equally horrific outside of prison as well. You say that people that come out of prisons are a shadow of themselves. And as I've indicated earlier, that does seem to be the deliberate intention of the occupiers to destroy all the young people, to destroy the next generation of Palestinian people. Clearly, the international community is not doing anything. Your pleas are falling on deaf ears. It's organizations like BDS, PIN, us here at Salam Media that keep your stories alive, and other organizations like Salam Media around the world, humanitarian journalism, that keep your horrific stories alive. What more can we do to put pressure on the international community to say this must stop, and this must stop right now?
Well, I want to tell you first, the international organizations, and let me say, countries also, and the European Union. I want just to pass on a message. We've had enough. We've had enough of words. We don't need words. They say actions speak louder than words, and we need actions. We Palestinians, we have been under the Israeli occupation for 74 years. 74 years of suffering. What are you waiting for? Well, when the war started in Ukraine, everyone helped Ukraine, not by words but by actions. So why we, the owners of the land, why don't you support us? I'm afraid, or let me say, unfortunately, their actions towards Israel is normalizing with Israel, not standing to support us. The countries and the international organizations are supporting and are normalizing with Israel, not standing on the right side. So let me say, shame on them. And we really do need just to say, stop normalizing. I think if the countries and the organizations stop normalizing with Israel, this will really affect Israel, because the let me say the money that is brought to Israel and the support that is brought to Israel by them is really big. So if they ended this, Israel will be weaker, much more weaker, to stand against us. So I really just want, stop normalizing. Don't I want to say that the countries and the international organizations, they actually care, let me say, about their own goods. They don't care about these Palestinians who are suffering, that we have been suffering for 74 years. And Ukraine, for only, let me say, of course, my heart is with Ukraine, but they have been suffering for 6 months, and every country is supporting Ukraine with actions, not words. So why, when it comes to Palestine, you only just promise us, you only just use words to support us? Words won't bring our beloved ones. Words won't bring our homeland to us. So we just only, I think, need actions. We Palestinians here, we're waiting for an action. And let me say, when are you going to take an action? If it's not today, when will it be?
Well, that just kind of proves, does it not, that Black lives don't matter as far as the international white community or Western community is concerned, and not forgetting the neighbors, the Middle Eastern neighbors in and around Israel. They haven't supported you, have they? And obviously, when we talk about Western interests, they're looking after their own financial interests that they have invested in that part of the world.
Unfortunately,
So
yes.
it's all about those geopolitical issues. It serves Western countries to have the presence of Israel in the Middle East to protect
Yes,
their interests. Very, very sad indeed.
yes.
I just want to read out a message from a listener, a viewer. Assalamu alaikum to you, Sakumzi Mtombeni. Thank you for being a part of this conversation. Sakumzi says, may Allah grant Palestinian safety and security from these tyrants, persecutors, and oppressors. And I'll go on to add something else to that message from you, Sakumzi. These wholesale butchers and murderers. Areej Alastal, an activist based in Gaza, thank you indeed for your hard work, your dedication for the emancipation of the Palestinian people. Inshallah, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will ease your burdens, and inshallah, your land will be yours sooner rather than later. Shukran for being
Inshallah,
on the show this
inshallah.
morning.
Thank you so much, and I hope the next I will be next time talking with you in Al Aqsa Mosque, inshallah. Thank you so
Ameen,
much.
Ameen, Summa Ameen, from your lips to Allah's ears, inshallah.
Inshallah,
Go
inshallah.
well.
Thank you
Go well.
so
It
much.
is. It's 8:44 a.m. News and views right here on Salam Media. We've got another message from Sakumzi. Can I ask the controller just to put it on screen? There we go. He says, to you, Areej, and all the Palestinian people, may Allah grant you more strength and wisdom to raise your voice to the whole world until you are heard. Ameen to that, Sakumzi. Thank you indeed for your thoughts this morning. 8:45 on News and Views.